acting police chief of Dalton, now facing federal charges. A grand jury indicted him on bankruptcy fraud charges today.
So Lightfoot's investigation, at least according to trustees, is back on now.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard last night wasting no time shutting down trustees and critics.
The veto message is related to the secret squirrel means, yes, that the Board of Trustees.
In an urgent late-night meeting held just last month, the board came to a unanimous decision, passing a resolution that officially called for a federal investigation into the mayor.
Great day in Dalton. Justice is being served.
Elston has been the assessor here in Thornton Township for the past 10 years, an elected position that helps residents deal with exemptions and property tax appeals. But when she arrived at work this morning, something strange happened.
This was your office?
Yes.
What happened when you tried to open it?
It doesn't work.
Not only had Elston been locked out of her own office, but boxes of sensitive documents that she kept in her office were spread around the common area.
This was under lock and key before.
This was under lock and key.
And now it's just out.
Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton, has just been arrested by the FBI. If you've been following the unfolding scandal, you'll recall the headlines about her extravagant shopping sprees and luxury vacations, allegedly funded through questionable wire transfers. Now, authorities have revealed an even bigger bombshell. Henyard has reportedly plunged the town's finances into a mountain of debt. Yes, Dalton, once a quiet community, is now drowning in financial ruin under her leadership. Doesn't stop there. Federal agents recently executed a search warrant at Henyard's home, uncovering a trove of shocking evidence. Hidden safes, mysterious documents, and a collection of unexpected surprises have left investigators and the public stunned. The revelations are sparking heated speculation about just how deep her alleged misconduct runs. Stick with us as we unravel the latest updates, expose the jaw-dropping details of these discoveries, and explore the ripple effects this scandal could have on Henyard and the future of Dalton. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss any twists in this wild story. Let's just say this isn't your typical small-town scandal. Tiffany Henyard appeared to be living a life straight out of a reality TV show. Think Kardashian-level opulence. While Dalton's finances spiraled into chaos. Picture this: designer handbags, lavish trips around the globe, and a security detail that cost more than most people's annual salaries. While she basked in luxury, the town she was elected to serve crumbled under her leadership. Now with the FBI closing in, the truth is finally coming to light, and it's getting messier by the minute. From the evidence uncovered so far, it looks like Henyard may have been funding her lavish lifestyle with the hard-earned money of Dalton's residents. But the investigation is far from over, and questions remain. Just how deep does this rabbit hole go? The FBI has already gathered enough evidence to bring serious charges against Henyard, but the drama is only beginning. Could this mark the end of her reign as mayor, or will she somehow manage to talk her way out of the mounting evidence? One thing is certain: the people of Dalton are demanding answers, and the truth is about to come out. The FBI isn't holding back, and the heat is on Henyard. Stay tuned. This story is far from over, and we're just getting started.
Trust issues, refusing to second a motion by Tiffany Henyard to get routine township bills paid.
I motion that we pay the bills for the general fund. Is there a second? Motion is second.
I had trouble following it as well, but now Keith Freeman is cooperating, doing what he should have been done in the first place.
Cooperating with trustees.
With the trustees, absolutely.
Over the past few months, Tiffany Henyard, once the notorious mayor of Dalton, has seemingly vanished from the public eye. Her transformation from a figure of endless controversy to someone trying to disappear is almost as shocking as the scandals that marked her reign. While her fall from grace felt inevitable, the drama surrounding her is far from over. Whispers suggest she's pulling a classic Houdini act, lying low, covering her tracks, and possibly hoping to evade the ever-tightening scrutiny of the authorities. But let's face it, how long can she dodge the spotlight before the FBI closes in? Henyard's chaotic tenure, riddled with missteps, scandals, and a laundry list of allegations, is finally unraveling. Watching this saga unfold feels like witnessing a slow-motion car crash, impossible to look away from. Was she on the run or simply hiding to avoid the heat? Either way, one thing is clear. Tiffany Henyard has a lot to answer for. The people of Dalton have had enough. Frustrated residents, alongside a disillusioned board of trustees, are signaling it's time to turn the tide against her. Henyard has always prioritized her own opinions, often disregarding the concerns of the very people she was elected to serve. This self-centered mindset has alienated not just the public, but also her former political allies. Recently, in what seemed like a desperate attempt to regain control, Henyard called for a town meeting. Perhaps she hoped to rally support or regain some semblance of authority. But in a move that must have been a bitter pill to swallow, not a single member of the Board of Trustees attended. The empty chairs sent a loud and clear message. They were done playing by her rules. The board's decision to snub her was a dose of her own medicine, a public rebuke of her leadership. This symbolic gesture marks a turning point in Henyard's career. What did this symbolic gesture mark of a turning point in Henyard's career? It's a stark reminder of just how far she has fallen from grace. Once a dominant political figure, she now stands isolated, her credibility and authority in tatters. The lack of support from the Board of Trustees, a once crucial pillar of her administration, is a clear indicator of the political and public fallout she faces. With mounting legal troubles, ethical questions surrounding her leadership, and a growing list of opponents, Henyard finds herself increasingly cornered. The community, watching with bated breath, is demanding accountability. As the tension reaches a boiling point, many are left wondering if Henyard has any cards left to play. The drama is far from over, but the town of Dalton seems to have reached its breaking point. End of section 1. The town of Dalton seems to have reached its breaking point. The people are ready for answers, and Henyard's ability to sidestep the consequences of her actions is wearing thin. The stage is set for what could be the final act of her troubled tenure as mayor. Whether Henyard can weather the storm or if this marks the end of her political ambitions remains to be seen. But one thing is certain, Dalton's residents are done waiting. As this unraveling mess continues to unfold, the ultimate question lingers. Can she make a comeback, or has the curtain finally fallen on her career? And unfortunately, after 5 weeks, we can only report back and say that all 3 of those people found one more time deep profilers.
Supervisor Tiffany Henyard wanted the Board of Trustees to approve some events that she wants the township to pay for, but none of the trustees showed up for.
Never one to back down, Tiffany Henyard, despite the snub from the board, took to the stage with her signature bravado. In typical fashion, she turned the entire incident into her personal soap opera. She boldly claimed that the corruption scandal swirling around her was nothing more than a massive propaganda campaign designed to tarnish her so-called glorious reign. That's what all the hate is about, she declared. That's what all the hate is about, she declared. Your super mayor became too powerful too quickly. I'm so rare, I'm so unique, and that's why everyone's got problems. It's all about control. Her words dripped with defiance, her tone unyielding as she continued, unabashed. This is me making my statement. If you guys don't want to hear this, there's the door. But the residents of Dalton, who had grown increasingly frustrated with her theatrics, weren't having it. One attendee interrupted her tirade with a blunt statement. We already know you're stealing from us. Yet Henyard wasn't fazed. She carried on as if nothing had happened, fully entrenched in her narrative. However, mounting evidence told a different story. Legal efforts uncovered shocking credit card records that revealed Henyard and her team had racked up a staggering $67,000 in travel expenses on Thornton Township's tab in just 5 months. When charges tied to Dalton were added, the total ballooned to over $100,000. When people ask me why I do what I do, I tell them last year that I did this for you. Last year, when I was going through really hard times, Henyard justified these expenses by claiming she was attending conferences, yes, conferences, while Dalton's public funds were recklessly drained. Adding to the growing suspicions, Henyard and her administration had been dodging transparency laws for months. Requests for Dalton's spending records were repeatedly ignored, prompting Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul to step in. When Henyard refused to comply, Gilead's parent company filed a lawsuit in Cook County Circuit Court. The judge ruled against Henyard, leaving Dalton's trustees to pick up the pieces. Trustee Brown, an outspoken critic of Henyard, revealed she had repeatedly requested financial statements but never received them. Even those in Henyard's inner circle were trying to keep the truth from the public, knowing the backlash would be enormous. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, hired to investigate Dalton's financial chaos, sounded alarms early on. Her findings were damning. In April 2022, Dalton's general fund balance stood at $5.6 million. By May 2024, it had plunged to a $3.65 million deficit. Lightfoot's investigation revealed that Henyard and her administration had ignored basic financial checks and balances, leading to the town's current financial turmoil. The tipping point came when the village board passed a resolution calling for a federal investigation into Henyard's actions. 4 of the 6 board members attended the meeting, signaling their growing dissatisfaction. Trustee Keem Beller voiced the sentiment of many. There's a lot of mismanagement of funds, and we just want clarity so we can move forward. The tipping point came when the village board passed a resolution calling for a federal investigation into Henyard's actions. 4 of the 6 board members attended the meeting. 62 people didn't fit on the board. As the investigation gained momentum, cracks began to appear in Henyard's once loyal inner circle. Reports surfaced that one of her top aides had started cooperating with her rivals, further isolating Henyard and stripping her of key powers, including access to village funds. One glaring example of her financial mismanagement involved security payments. Despite the loss of 6 police vehicles, critical resources for the town, Henyard insisted on maintaining her expensive security detail. As critical resources for the town, Henyard insisted on maintaining her expensive security detail. Her disregard for fiscal responsibility extended to personal purchases on the village's credit card, including items from Amazon, Target, Walgreens, and Wayfair. It was even alleged that she used taxpayer money to rent a lavish property and to pay for personal luxuries. The FBI's investigation only deepened the scandal. A raid on her home uncovered a detailed list of financial irregularities, including an astounding $561,000 taxpayer-funded check to repave her mother's driveway. Under mounting pressure, Henyard has gone into hiding, avoiding public appearances altogether. The FBI has demanded personnel files, disciplinary records, and payment contracts tied to her administration. One of the most shocking revelations involves her assistant, Keith Freeman, who also holds a position in Thornton Township and has come under scrutiny for his role in the alleged mismanagement. His police force and his workers become target with more than 4,500 cases of laser focus. Every time I try to do something, Henyard's once promising political career, marked by her historic election as Dalton's youngest and first female mayor in 2022, now teeters on the brink of collapse. What began with high hopes and lofty promises has devolved into a scandal of epic proportions. WGN Investigates had already revealed troubling details about her spending habits earlier this year, including $67,000 in township credit card charges for travel in just 5 months of 2023. Among the questionable expenses were a $1,169 at the Fairmont Austin Hotel, $389 at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and thousands more on luxury goods, dining, and Uber Eats. So, Henyard defended her spending, but her explanations only fueled public outrage. Her actions painted a picture of someone living a lavish lifestyle on the taxpayer's dime. With allegations of misuse piling up, the drama surrounding Henyard has only intensified. So anyway, this is the rule that relates to youth. So As rumors swirl about her disappearance, speculation grows about whether she's on the run or simply avoiding accountability. One thing is certain, her antics have reached a breaking point and the people of Dalton demand answers. As this scandal continues to unfold, the ultimate question remains, can Henyard salvage anything from this wreckage, or is her political career destined to crumble under the weight of her alleged corruption? The story of Dalton's embattled mayor, Tiffany Henyard, reads like a political drama that blends audacity with controversy. Over the years, her tenure has become synonymous with alleged corruption, financial mismanagement, and unchecked power, leaving the community grappling with questions about its leadership. Here's a closer look at the unfolding scandal that has captivated and enraged the residents of Dalton. Henyard's spending habits have drawn sharp criticism from taxpayers and watchdogs alike. Records reveal extravagant charges on municipal credit cards, over $67,000 in just 5 months of 2023, with additional expenses ballooning the total to more than $100,000. From luxury hotels to high-exon dining and even personal purchases, Henyard's defense that these expenses were tied to official conferences has done little to justify the blatant misuse of public funds. Her financial recklessness didn't stop there. Under her administration, Dalton's general fund plummeted from a $5.6 million surplus in April 2022 to a staggering $3.65 million deficit by May 2024. Despite repeated requests for transparency, Henyard has evaded accountability, ignoring state transparency laws and obstructing access to financial records. Henyard has evaded accountability, ignoring state transparency laws. Henyard's leadership style has been marked by allegations of silencing dissent and punishing critics. Former trustees and whistleblowers have accused her of leveraging her influence to intimidate residents and employees, from using law enforcement to suppress opposition to alleged retaliation against tenants of outspoken critics. Her tactics have raised serious ethical and legal questions. One whistleblower, Carmen Carlisle, painted a grim picture of Henyard's administration, accusing her of manipulative and abusive practices. Carlisle's testimony has added to the growing number of voices demanding accountability from Henyard. The financial chaos and allegations of corruption have fueled widespread public discontent. Residents have staged rallies calling for her resignation and demanding federal investigations into her actions. Community leaders such as Jason House have emerged as voices of reason, advocating for fiscal responsibility and transparency. House's announcement to run for mayor in 2025 symbolizes the community's desire for change. The FBI's involvement has intensified the pressure on Henyard. Investigations into her administration have uncovered damning evidence, including alleged misuse of funds for personal luxuries, such as repaving her mother's driveway at the taxpayer's expense. Federal agents have also seized personnel and financial records, signaling a deeper probe into the extent of Henyard's mismanagement. As her inner circle fractures and key allies turn against her, Henyard's grip on power is slipping. The once promising leader, celebrated for breaking barriers as Dalton's youngest and first female mayor, now faces a legacy marred by scandal and public distrust. With mounting evidence and a growing chorus of dissent, Henyard's political career hangs by a thread. Whether she will face the consequences of her actions or manage to sidestep accountability remains uncertain. Again, what's clear, however, is that the people of Dalton are no longer willing to tolerate corruption and mismanagement. Stay tuned for updates as this dramatic saga continues to unfold, reshaping the political landscape of Dalton. If you haven't already, like and subscribe for in-depth coverage of this and other breaking stories